Hi, Sagar.
Hello,
How are
ma'am.
you?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. And congratulations, many congratulations on your successful, attempts.
Thank you so
So
much, ma'am.
tell us about yourself. First of all, what is your academic background? And then let's talk about the entrances that you took.
Yes. So I'm Sagar. I'm from Mumbai. So I did my BA Economics program from DG Ruparel College, affiliated to the University of Mumbai. And for the first 2 years, I had economics, psychology, and statistics as my subjects. And in my final year, I had 6 papers of economics per semester.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
what my
So you're from Mumbai University, and
yes.
when did you start your preparation?
Around July of like 2022, when
Okay.
my third year, final year just started off. Then I started searching for like classes, and then I came to know about ecopoint, and I
चलो
started
क्लासेस
the
में
like.
बाद में आएंगे. First of all, tell us what all entrances you have taken up and what all you cleared.
So I had starting from like chronologically, I had given up IIT Jam and IIT Gate, and got a rank of 62 in IIT Jam.
Very good.
Then I also got shortlisted for SAU. I had cleared the interviews for Christ University का MSc Economics Analytics course and the Symbiosis School of Economics का interview. Then I also got selected for Gokhale Institute. I had given ISI, but I could not get shortlisted for further. And then I cracked both DSC and IGIDR ka in the second list. And I scored 301 in CDSC का जो entrance था this year. That was CUET
CUET.
PG
CUET. That's
Economics.
a very good score. 301 is a very good score. So finally, what are you choosing? DSC or IGIDR?
I'm finally choosing up IGIDR over DSC right now.
So particular reason you always wanted IGIDR
Uh,
was your
so
focus.
like when I had kind of started preparing, IGIDR was my the college that I wished to go to. DSC was also of a different level, but then there was somewhat of the Mumbai preference, a better student-teacher ratio. I talked to a few seniors as well, and I finally felt that I would be a better fit at IGIDR personally. So that was why I decided to go there.
So, since you're from Mumbai University, I would like to know, did you feel there is in the course, there is some gap, what comes in the entrances and what you guys are doing in your graduation level? कुछ ऐसा लगा तुम्हें? What?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I had to put in a lot of extra, like even during the classes and after that, like whenever I just started, I felt that there was a lot of difference between those who are doing like economics honors and those who have just done economics from any other university as well. So, thoda sa curriculum gap I felt,
Hmm.
the mathematical rigor that was necessary was a
Hmm.
bit, I was a little lacking in that. So I had to cover up all those extra gaps that were there. So, but the coaching helped me in that essence more. It's also the live lectures से सारे concepts easily cover हो जाते थे, and all of the examples, the practice assignments, उससे फिर confidence भी build होता गया. And after I gave one or two entrances, then I felt कि I could easily compete with students from DU or from economics honors backgrounds as well.
Hmm.
तो
So,
वो एक
you were telling about the courses that you had in your graduation. You had
yes.
a lot of economics courses and you said statistics course. What about maths? Was maths also a part of your course somewhere?
Yeah, there was a course of quantitative aptitude. So even in the second year as well as in the final year, we had a
Okay.
basic course on mathematics for economics.
Oh, so
So
you
up to
had
then,
that
and
maths,
some
that
of those
theory.
concepts were cleared in those. Yeah.
Great,
The,
great. So you started your preparation, you said, in from July onwards. So were you
yes.
coming for all the live classes? कैसे किया? How were you preparing actually?
So for the first few months, like till November, December, I was almost able to come regularly for your live lectures, and जो भी था वो backlog भी सारा like रखा नहीं ज़्यादा.
Hmm.
But come December, January, because of some college and we had a intercollegiate fest. I was the secretary of my department, so we had a थोड़े से बीच में classes also I had missed up. But then वो वापस backlog clear करने के चक्कर में there was a lot of extra pressure as well. But then since January or February onwards, I had put in like more than around 8 hours for the preparations itself, and the practice papers, the previous year questions, all of the quizzes and the tests. tests on Wampus as
I
well.
would like to come to that. So,
Yeah.
what were you doing? You were creating your notes properly. कैसे पढ़ाई करते थे आप? How were
हाँ,
you?
so जो लाइव लेक्चर से जो नोट्स बनते थे वो फिर once the notes were there, then I started revising them, and finally a few months, like before, few days before the entrances, I used to just go for all the previous questions. I used to try to tackle as many questions as I could for every entrance possible. So for SAU, you had given us 5 to 7 specific tests for SAU type test and everything. So when I used to do those specific type of tests, I could feel ki the similar types of questions are probably going to be asked in the exams. So those were really helpful to get in the right mindset for the right exam, because different entrances had different what do we say, types of questions and different structures as to what is more theoretical or more mathematical as such.
Right.
So
So,
फिर
how many registers did you make?
registers मेरे बन के I guess it got to around 6 or 7, ज़्यादा नहीं हुए, but then the practice papers and that was a different thing. So
Yeah.
in notes ka like 6 to 7, I think there were, yeah.
Okay. Now tell me something. जो मैं starting से the test that we provide you for revision maths, did you practice those?
Yes, those short tests from
Yes.
the beginning.
From
Yeah,
the
so I
beginning.
did those as well. So that the kind of the analytical part gets built up slowly कि कैसे
Hmm.
क्वेश्चन को कैसे धीरे धीरे like टैकल करने के लिए ability आती गई कि इसमें अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया तो this is some sort of method that can be used. So
Hmm.
वो भी helpful रहा मेरे लिए.
Hmm.
I did I guess most of the short assignments as well.
Hmm.
The weekly assignments that were given both for overall subjects, micro, math, macro, etc.
So apart from the notes and test and all, were you referring any books?
Books I was like I had got the standard like, basic the Halvarian, then I had got Alpha. For mathematics I did Alpha Chiang thoda अच्छे से, because that was what I felt कि it was needed. But for micro and macro and other like some other subjects, I felt कि जो notes और जो live lectures में सारे concepts पढ़ाए जाते थे, the way the examples were being handled, I felt that was enough for me so that I could move on to questions and examples. So the more and more questions that I did was more helpful. So उसमें मैंने वेरिएंट like रखी हुई थी, बीच में रेफर कर रहा था, but then I could not study it as well as I like complete
I
वो नहीं
get
हो
it.
पाया,
I
but
get it.
then that was the note
You
sufficed for the
basically you were simultaneously preparing. You were in the third year and you were
yes,
simultaneously preparing. So it
yes,
is it is quite challenging. I would like to come to this point. How are you managing your time? Because time management, I think, at the end of the day, is the key.
yes. So till the time my like college was going on till January, February, जो evening lectures होते थे 6 to 7:30,
Hmm.
that I had tried to attend almost every lecture that I had, because then that was a kind of, as you and sir has said multiple times कि वो discipline बन जाता है तो consistency आती रहती है. But other than that, फिर I started in the starting months I used to give around 1 to 2 hours like extra of that कि भाई एक extra जो कुछ अगर नहीं समझा है वो लेक्चर का, तो आई यूज टू रेफर टू माय नोट्स एंड go through another example or refer to a book that I have.
Hmm.
And then once college exams मार्च में होते गए, I guess मार्च में और अप्रैल around like our college exams got over. So बीच में there was a period where I was not able to dedicate much time to this preparation because college का पूरे theoretical and the subjects were same, but the method of preparation used to be very different because theoretical and long answers we had to learn all of that. So after that, once April got over, I had only a few days between my last Sem 6 paper and SAU. But SAU was a bit theoretical, so that was वो क्वेश्चन पे प्रैक्टिस पेपर्स करके एंड थोड़े से लाइक मेरे नोट्स रेफर करके दैट वाज आई वाज एबल टू डू. बट देन फॉर ISI IGIDR I had to give in much and more of the time, so that after college exams I was like कि अभी सिर्फ इसी पे फोकस करना है properly, because these are the last 2 months that I have and I have to get into a good university or institution. So फिर around 8 hours a day फिर उसी में I used to get cut off from other parts of the life, like फिर थोड़ा बहुत कम कर दिया था. Still I used to do something every day to just to refresh my mind. But
Right.
other than that, वो 8 hours का I guess minimum I used to put into just 4 hours in
8
the morning,
hours
4
is
hours in
a
the
good
evening,
amount
आधा
of time to put
फिर
in
उसमें
actually.
फिर डेडिकेट करना ही पड़ा था.
But tell me something, you did pretty well in IIT JAM also. So JAM tak how much syllabus किस तरीके से किया? You had completed your course, revised it once. How many cycles of revision probably you gave?
One cycle of revision was entirely done,
Yes.
and plus I had given 5 to 6 the IIT JAM type test papers that you had given us for the practice.
Yes.
There were a lot more, but I could not do all of those before JAM, and I was a little low on confidence before JAM because it was the first entrance exam I was ever
That happens
attempting.
with everyone. वो सिर्फ
Yeah,
it's
but
not
then
just for you. That is with
surprisingly,
everyone.
like थोड़ा सा time management aspect otherwise, but it didn't go as bad as I had thought. It went a bit well, so I even got rank 62. And उसके पहले फिर एक revision हो गया था, and micro and math की मैंने एक और बार कर ली थी.
Yes.
But some other aspects like macro, I was a bit more confident, but उतना उसमें नहीं हुआ था revision. But then the practice questions, really helped you to get into the mindset कि okay, you have to sit for 3 hours and pick your head for these types of questions itself. So the capacity to sit for 3 hours वो develop करते गया फिर.
ट्रू ट्रू ट्रू. फिर उसके बाद हमने काफी सारे आपको नॉन डीएससी टाइप ऑफ टेस्ट भी दिए थे, राइट? नॉन
Yes.
डीएससी, तो वर यू एबल टू डू देम? किए थे आपने प्रैक्टिस?
नॉन डीएससी टाइप मेरे ज्यादा नहीं हुए थे. आई फील जीआईपी के आई हैड गिवन एज मेनी एज आई कुड, and I don't think I had attempted many MSc type or Hyderabad type tests, but the GIP type tests were very helpful in, like, the non-DSC also gave us a different perspective on how questions can be framed, the similar question can be framed in a unique manner, so that we might get confused at a later stage. But then वो practice से non-DSC के भी GIP and a few others I did around 15 something tests, 15 17 tests. I don't exactly remember, but
Fine, that's
वो
okay,
भी
that's
एक हेल्प होता है कि सिर्फ मैथमेटिकल एस्पेक्ट से नहीं सोचना है. देयर इज अदर एस्पेक्ट्स हाउ द क्वेश्चन कैन बी फ्रेम्ड बाय द एग्जामिनर.
I would like to know here, since you have good score in CUET, what was your strategy for that? CUET के लिए क्या strategy थी? Were you practicing all the CUET type tests that we
Yes,
gave?
yes. UET
Are
type
you
papers.
timing it properly while giving the test?
Yeah, so the CUET type papers, there was a like, strict time limit. So I was planning ki I have to complete the non-eco section within what 15-20 minutes. I felt less than that time, so that I could give more time for the economic section. But I felt that even in the economic section, some of the questions this year, like some of the things like match the following, and a few questions took less time, so that I could manage my time more effectively in CUET. And my strategy was also that I have to attempt as many as I could, because even though there was negative marking of -1, but the what do we say, the expected value was very high for me to, if I have a good enough guess, if I don't know anything about the question, I would leave it. But if I have a very good guess about it, I would try to attempt it. And even then I attempted around 94 questions, and 15 to 16 went wrong. I guess 15 went wrong, so that gave a score of 301. So in that sense, I was like, I also tried as many like previous year DSA type questions. I knew the level won't be as difficult, as the mathematical rigor won't be as much, but the way it forced us to think those BYQs, that helped in even in more theoretical questions where you have to
Absolutely,
think of some like
absolutely.
macro, if you have to
It's
think
just
about
that I think because they are now giving a lot of number of questions, so of course you can't get a question which is taking 15 minutes. Of
Yes,
course, you can't get that kind of question. But I think conceptually, even the DSC past years, they challenge you conceptually. So you tend to think. Now, from the same concept, a question which could be done in less amount of time could be created. So that ways it really helps. And not just for CUET, I think those kind of questions help you for ISI, IIT, those kind of questions can help you in all those institutes for that matter. Okay, suggest something about IGIDR. How did you actually, tackle the actual paper that day? How did you tackle that IGIDR paper?
The IGIDR paper, I remember being a bit confident about it because it was kind of the last, it was on 17th June, I believe. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was the
You might
last of
practice a
all the
lot till
entrances.
then.
Huh. So the experience of all those previous papers,
Yeah.
like I could put into like, so even I had to sit for 2.5 or 3 hours per paper.
Hmm.
And even then in the 90 marks, in IGIDR there were three sections for 35, 35 and I feel 15 or 20. There's a total of 90 marks.
Huh.
So there was a mathematics part, there was an economics part, and
Yes.
there was the general part. So the general aptitude and the logical reasoning part, I tried to finish off as quickly as I could in
Uh-huh.
the beginning itself, so that I can dedicate much more time to math and economics. Then I just went through both like the economics or the advanced and the advanced mathematics section as well. I just switched once without attempting the question. I just went through, and if I'm able to just get a read of it, so that took around 10 minutes.
Hmm.
And then I jumped to economics and I did all of the economics section. And at the end, I moved on to the mathematics part, the basic mathematics
The
color
basic
section,
mathematics part.
first section. So in that, I felt like some of the situations needed more time in there. So I felt if I'd have, I felt a little bit of time crunch in IGIDR actually. But
And that's
for
why
the
I'm asking you this question. Because
yes,
IGIDR again, any paper which has sections, na, there you have to manage your time very well.
yes, yeah, that was that. Like I felt that because in the mathematics section, when the last few questions were remaining, I had to. And the thing about the mathematics section was you have to solve majority of the question. Nothing would come. I just read the question and I know the answer.
Yes, I
That
know.
was not possible for basic mathematics. So that took up more amount of my time. But from the economic section, I had went I from whatever time I had given for myself, I had went only 5 minutes overboard. So थोड़ा सा वो cover up हो गया. But then yes, a little bit of time crunch was felt at the end कि if I had वो if the situation in the end आ गया कि if थोड़ा सा इधर ये time पे ये किया होता तो then a few more minutes could have made a better go.
Hmm.
That was
I would
kind of
also here like to ask you क्योंकि आपने IGIDR क्रैक किया है, आप IGIDR ज्वाइन कर रहे हो, a lot of aspirants might be, who would be probably watching it, they would want to know about your experience of IGIDR interview. Entrance तो हो गया, how you manage your time and
right.
all. Just share your experience of the interview also. किस तरीके का interview था?
So like there was a certain anxiety before the interview, but the panel was very friendly. Like at the beginning, they were like nice. You gotta get a warm go. And once they'll start questioning, there were different panels in IGIDR even
Hmm.
on the same day.
Hmm.
So different panels had we could hear from the other students as well. Ki, okay, the X panel is asking more type of econometrics question, or Y panel is asking more type of mathematical or macro based questions.
Okay.
So there is some bit of that block as well. But then in the interview, it is a very smooth. It went kind of smoothly. I fumbled once or up a bit in the beginning,
Hmm.
but then some of the questions of macro and micro I could handle a bit more. I was able to handle them well rather than some other econometrics questions as well. So they ask questions on a wide variety, like they touch upon all of the subjects. And if they feel like in one of the answers, if in one of the subjects, if they feel like they could link some other concept to that part, so they would do that. But I guess ideally they touch upon every, so like micro, macro, statistics, econometrics. And some of the students were asked the question of what is your favorite subject, but we were not. So that also depends on panel to panel how the questions are being framed. For sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's basically an academic interview. That's what
Yes,
I get from here. It's
yes.
an academic interview, right? And how did you prepare for the interview? You must have given yourself, some 10 days. Were you revising
Yes,
your
yes.
registers? What were you doing during that time?
So for the interview, I was revising like I revised my registers at
हम तो
least
यही बोलते हैं सबको, यू हैव टू रिवाइज बेसिकली इट्स एन
votes
academic
was
इंटरव्यू, तो वही
because
करना है, करना वही है.
uh,
It's just that it's
because
not a written paper, but it's
uh,
it's a viva. So
हाँ,
it is
because
that.
at the end वो जो conceptual clarity लगता था, because sometimes what happens is we know the concept, we can apply it, but वो express करना gets difficult. So that part also I was trying
Hmm.
to figure out, okay, I tried to revise the registers and in a way that I can explain it to some other person as well. So if I'm revising them, I would try to even think of it in my own language. कि
Very good. Yeah.
how मैं मुझे कैसे
ये
ये
हम
thing
सबको
मिले कि
कहते हैं लेकिन वी व्हेन वी आर टेलिंग दिस टू स्टूडेंट्स दे माइट नॉट टेक इट वेरी सीरियसली व्हेन यू आर टेलिंग इट नाउ सो एनीवन हु
So
लिसंस
yeah,
टू
because
यू
like
वुड टेक इट वेरी
revising those concepts
सीरियसली.
in my own language, that like kind of felt कि when somebody else is asking me that, I have to be able to explain to them in a very simple manner because in any examination or interview we hear कि you have to write the paper as if the checker doesn't know anything. So एकदम basic, एकदम अच्छे से समझाना पड़ रहा है कि we can't assume कि but so वो way में I was thinking कि थोड़ा सा I would go for the basics as well. So to strengthen the basic concepts and उसके ऊपर फिर जो advanced parts आए वो एक बार को even if we start from the basic concepts and try to link them during the interview, if we if वो अगर पढ़ा होगा तो वो link उस टाइम पे भी शायद हो सकता है अगर कोई एक आध कॉन्सेप्ट भूल गए. बट तो वो फाउंडेशंस बेसिकली वो बिल्ड लाइक स्ट्रेंथन करना वाज आई फेल्ट नेसेसरी कि जो भी एकदम बेसिक. सो something like a definition of a random variable as well, so
Yeah.
that can get to we can just fumble in there. Okay, we know this, but how to express this in the
And you
interview.
can
The
just start
basics.
with a very small example of a dice and
Yeah,
try to explain जैसे you're teaching that subject. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good way. I think interviews also they like it like that, when you are able to express.
So yeah, they would wish the student is
What
able
was
to
the
express.
time duration of your interview?
I was in the interview room for around 15 to 20 minutes.
That
The average was that for all students. Some would have been in there for 25 minutes, but the average was 15 to 25 minutes itself. I don't think anybody took more than that.
Great, great, great. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again.
Thank
Uh,
you so much, ma'am.
IGIDR, it's a great place to be. I'm sure you will go places from there, and just optimize your, 2 years out there. Do very well. And I'm sure you will do very well. You are a very
Thank you so much.
hardworking person. So all the best, all the
Thank,
times.
thank you so much, ma'am. I hope to make the most of this opportunity given.
Yes, it's a very good opportunity. Just make the most out of it. Study as if you want to stick to academics for a long period of time.
Yeah.
बाकी, yeah, see, always keep that in mind. मैं सबको यही कह रही हूँ for that matter. Think as if you would want to, do your PhD. Because उससे क्या होगा कि that academic rigor will be there in your mind. If you from the beginning just start thinking that acha ab to now I'm here and after that I'll get some good corporate break, so वो आएगा नहीं, academic rigor नहीं आएगा, then your focus is something else. So always keep that gate open for yourself. So tell your brain, our brain understands what we are telling it. So tell your brain that okay, I
Yes.
want to stick to academics so that you have that rigor. You definitely do have that rigor, and then of course good marks, and it just boosts your confidence for life. So all
We'll
the
try
best, all the
to
best. Thank you very
incorporate
much
that
for
as
your
well.
time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
It was really great because it was a very great learning from you and Ashant sir both. Like you're in the, I'd given a feedback to Aditya sir as well because you guys like helped me a lot in bridging the gap that I had actually. So that was really
थैंक यू
thank you
सो
so
मच.
much, ma'am.
नहीं नहीं, देखो मेहनत तो तुम लोगों की ही है. हम ऑफ कोर्स वी आर देयर फॉर अ रीजन, बट मेहनत तो करनी पड़ती है. दैट यू मस्ट हैव रियलाइज. इट्स नॉट जस्ट कि हम आ
Yes.
जाएं और हो गया, ऐसे नहीं होगा.
वो
मेहनत
वो
तो
वो
आपको ही करनी
बैठना
है.
ही पड़ता
इफ
था.
वी आर पुटिंग 5%, हम अपनी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, तुम अपनी मेहनत कर रहे हो. अगर सिर्फ हमने मेहनत की तुमने नहीं की तो नहीं होगा. अगर हमने नहीं की मेहनत, तुम बस मेहनत कर रहे हो तो भी नहीं होगा. सो इट्स लाइक या
Yes, yes,
इट्स
ma'am.
नॉट अ
True.
वन वे स्ट्रीट, इट्स अ टू वे स्ट्रीट दैट वेज.
True, true, ma'am. So true.
चलो, ऑल द बेस्ट. हाँ,
Thank
डू
you.
वेल.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
बाय.